Dasha, what are you doing?
I am now paid by the local community association to teach English to other Ukrainians for 5 hours per week. But so far, it's the only work I have found. A survey of Ukrainians by the Office for National Statistics found that half of respondents have had difficulty taking up work here. The biggest barriers are language and our qualifications not being recognized.
Many years ago, I worked as journalist on TV channel and in the newspaper.
This is my friend Irina, and she arrived here with her 2 children in June.
I tried sent my CV in catering company, and they didn't answer me. Maybe nearly 60, 70, I sent my CV. It is a little difficult system for us.
I agree. I absolutely agree because I've done my DBS check twice because I applied for a job as a teacher assistant to work with Ukrainians at the local school, but I haven't heard back from them as well, which is very strange and frustrating.
I agree.
So I feel you, Irina. Be patient. Take some time.
Yeah.
Hi, Anya. For my neighbors in the village, Anya and Slava, some of the challenges we are all facing are even bigger because they are both deaf. Anya can hear enough to understand me and also translates for Slava from sign language into Ukrainian. Anya's words are read by an actor. You have been learning English Sign Language for some time. Are there big differences between Ukrainian Sign Language and English Sign Language?
Of course, they are very different, like English and Ukrainian, very different. We don't have deaf people here to communicate with in British Sign Language. And we need to communicate with people like us. To meet deaf people, we have to travel a long way to London or Manchester. My husband would like to add that it's difficult for him to start from scratch. It's not easy for him here. Everything is difficult and he has less optimistic views on life in England.
My name is Enver Solomon and I'm the Chief Executive of the Refugee Council. It's very difficult to imagine what it's like being uprooted so dramatically. People will arrive with trauma, they'll experience great loss from connection with family, anxiety, huge anxiety we found about family members back in Ukraine. It impacts on your ability to hold down a job, to work, impacts on your day-to-day life.
We are listening to my mother's and my father's voices. They are on the phone, and every time I call them, they are very excited and very sad at the same time. My parents, they miss Melissa very much, and Emilia as well, and every time they can hear their voices, they start crying. My elder daughter, who is 14 years old, her English is getting better and better every day, and I am so proud of them. I always discuss my next steps related to the host house with Julia and David, and I hope to go back home as soon as possible, but just in case, if I will have to stay here longer, I would like to find our own accommodation, of course. It's time to be more independent. From my conversations with other Ukrainians in the local area and other parts of the country, I know this is a common feeling.
Independence is very important. The fact that the majority of the people in the UK on the Homes for Ukraine scheme right now are single women or mothers with children.
This is Dan Banish, the managing director of Opora, a charity that helps Ukrainians settle in the UK.
Having a stable home that you can count on is necessary because it's a base for everything else. So not being able to find that is a massive drawback. The issues in terms of employability, in terms of integration, they're all linked together, but at the core of it, it's having somewhere suitable, safe and stable to stay for an extended period of time.
My name is Dr. Krish Kandaya. I'm the founder of the Sanctuary Foundation. The next phase, though, having a safe landing in someone's home is brilliant, but it can't last forever. And having the dignity of your own front door is really important when it comes to trauma recovery. You need to be able to choose things in your life. You don't need to have to ask permission when you use the bathroom or the kitchen. You need that space to be able to call your own and to be able to be a family together. If we can help Ukrainians use the skills and gifts they have and get sustainable jobs, then they won't need help with their housing. They could just rent on the open market. But because most of our Ukrainian friends can't do that because of language challenges or recognition of qualifications, or they're now solo parenting, many of our Ukrainian friends need help getting into the housing sector once their hosting arrangement has come to an end.
It's quite challenging for me to find home for my family. I am on universal credit, and I don't think that landlords would like to rent out the house to someone like I am. John Perry from the Chartered Institute of Housing.
People on low incomes find it difficult to access housing in the private rented sector for various reasons. One obviously is the level of rents, which is going up all the time. In some cases there's prejudice by landlords against people who depend on benefits. There is evidence of discrimination by landlords against people who don't hold UK passports.
Anwar Solomon from the Refugee Council.
Ukrainians can access benefits, housing support through the benefit system to try and find a property. Of course, there are still challenges. They don't have what's known as a rental deposit. If you don't have that deposit, you can't sign the tenancy agreement. Or they might have unstable employment, or they might have employment which is in the informal economy. There's still not a smooth transition into independent living and accommodation for them.
The support we are getting now from the local council or from the government is very important for all of us, and it's even this universal credit. I even cannot imagine how could I survive here without this support. We just hope that, we will get more options with housing. I would like to meet and to speak to local council to ask some questions, and maybe they can help me to find out more about this.
I'm Federica Smith-Roberts, and I'm the lead member for communities at the council. I think that the biggest challenge that is being faced by yourselves are housing and being able to move on, and that is a huge challenge locally about being able to find affordable accommodation.
Yes, it's true. Is council housing available to us Ukrainians?
Mm-hmm. So we do have social housing in Somerset. You do have, I believe, rights to access when if you were made homeless, for example, when a house breakdown, we can look to find homes for you. So there is access available to you through those schemes.
I have heard that there is such a long waiting list. Is it true?
That is true. There are